Hi, Phyllis here from SouthernFrugal.com. It's Saturday afternoon and I'm going to fix some chicken and dumplings for tomorrow because I don't really like to, be cooking on Sunday. I like to be able to come home from church and just warm up something good, I might add, for dinner or lunch on Sunday. Alright, so I went to Bilo and they had whole chickens, they call them whole birds, on sale if you had your bonus card for $1.29 a pound. This is what I got. Now this is a whole large chicken. It weighs almost 5.5 pounds, and it's from Fieldale Farms Corporation in Georgia. And right on the wrapper it says no added hormones and no steroids. Now, years ago I got really sick of chicken. The big chicken breasts, they were just humongous, and to me they were always tough. So me and my husband both kind of got turned off on chicken for quite a long time. But anyway, I have never tried this chicken. I did look them up on the internet, and they say that the chickens get a vegetarian diet and they're very strict about how the chickens are raised and what they're fed. And the American Humane Society has certified them as, I guess, okay. But anyway, we're going to find out if this chicken is good. So I'm going to fix it in the pressure cooker because we're going to have chicken and dumplings. So I want to show you that now. Alright, the only thing I'm going to add to that pot is the water and some of my frozen celery, a couple of handfuls of that. So now let's look at this bird. Now, the government says you should never wash your chicken, and the reason is because you just spread germs around your kitchen where it splashes and everything, when you're washing it. Now, I don't really wash any of my meat that I'm going to cook because I know that the heat is going to kill any bacteria. But I used to always wash chicken, but this time I'm just going to dry it off. So I'm going to open that pack. And again, I still don't have any plastic gloves. So let's see if I can figure out how to open this. And I'm keeping it right in the plastic bag. I mean the 2 grocery store bags that's double bagged. And I'm sure there are no holes in the bag. And it does look good, I'll have to tell you. The chicken looks good. Now I think this is not a hen, but it's probably older, than 6 weeks for sure. Alright, now I know there's some little sacks in there with whatever, the neck. And I don't know what else, I guess we'll find out. The heart, the gizzard, the liver. So I'm just going to clean all that out. I know this is hard with your hands, I know, with no gloves. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm just going to take a bunch of paper towels and dry it off, because there is liquid in the bag too, and dry it off on the inside too. Get any little extra out that's in there. A lot of that liquid will stay right in the bag. Okay, the inside looks like that's the heart. So I'll dry that out again. Now I'm not going to cut the chicken up. I'm just going to put it in the pressure cooker just like it is. And again, handling it as little as possible. Make sure there's nothing in the neck cavity there. Alright, there it is. It looks pretty good to me. I don't see any bruise marks on it or anything. Anyway, now I'm going to put the little trivet in the bottom of my pressure cooker to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom. And again, I've probably got about 4 cups of water in there. Now I'm going to have to wash my hands without cutting off the camera, so you'll just have to wait. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Let me turn that up so you can see it. There's my pressure cooker now. I'm going to cook this, get that position, for 20 minutes with the pressure on high, and then I'm going to just cut the burner off and let it sit until the pressure goes down, and I can take the lid off. Then I'm going to let it cool before I pick the chicken off. Alright, so I'm going to dump this in. And that's probably a good cup of celery. Put the lid on. Go ahead and turn my burner on now. I'm going to have to wash my hands again and kind of wipe off everything with a little Clorox water. And when this is done and I'm ready to pick the chicken off, we'll be back. Okay, my chicken has cooked, and I actually let it cook for about 30 minutes. Then it took it at least another 45 minutes to cool off and for the pressure to go down. So now we're going to see what it looks like. Okay, there it is. Let's see if I can find something to see if it feels tender. And it does. Okay, now we're ready to drain the juice off. Of course, I've got all that celery in there. And the reason I'm draining the juice off is because I'm going to actually put that in the refrigerator and let it be cooling so the fat will come to the surface. Let's see if I can hold this lid on there. Now, this is very heavy, so bear with me here. Let me move it back so you can see. Oops, sorry. All right, I'm going to see if I can drain some of this anyway. It's very heavy. Okay, whoops. I think we about got it. Alright, now I'm going to actually put this juice in the refrigerator. I'll actually put some ice cubes in it, and see, I've got about 1/4 of an inch of fat floating on the top, and I want to be able to get some of that fat off. And I'm also going to dump the chicken out and kind of break it up so it'll cool a lot faster. We'll be back. Okay, we are back, and I've picked all the chicken off the bone, got rid of the skin and the fat and all the little blood vessels and whatever. Now I'll have to say, this chicken on the thighs and you know, on the drumstick was almost as light as the breast meat was. And also, I decided to not wait for the fat to congeal on the top because there's really not that much of it. See? So I'm going to pour this into my pot. And now I'm going to do something I have not seen other people do, and I'm not sure why I do it. It just makes everything taste better. I'm going to put the juice of half a lemon in my chicken broth. Alright, that ought to do it. A little tip here, if you put the lemon, half a lemon, in your garbage disposal and turn it on without running the water and just let it sit in there all ground up, it'll kind of really clean out your garbage disposal. Just thought I would share that. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and turn my burner up on medium-high to get this broth good and boiling. And I'm going to use about maybe a teaspoon of salt in my broth. Alright, we are ready to make the dumpling dough now. I'll move the camera back so you can see. Now I make mine just like I do biscuits, except I don't make them as, well, let's say this, I don't put as much buttermilk in them as I would biscuits. And as I make them, I'm going to put them in the flour and kind of get them all coated with flour. So that's what, a tablespoon or so of Crisco. I'm going to go ahead and put in a little more baking powder. Now I am using White Lily self-rising flour. And I think I need to turn my other light on. And I'm going to use whole milk buttermilk. And while I'm making the little dumplings, my little broth is going to get heated up again, and I'll get it to just a good simmer, kind of a high simmer. Okay. Kind of squish that little tablespoon, or probably a tablespoon and a half of Crisco, and I think this is about 2 cups of flour, and I did sift it first, and I put in an extra little, probably almost a teaspoon of additional baking powder, even though this is self-rising. Now I'm going to pour the buttermilk in, and again, this is going to be a much stiffer dough than biscuits. So I want to be careful when I'm pouring the buttermilk in it. Put just a touch more. That ought to be enough. Again, it's a very stiff dough. And I do that because I like for the inside of the dumpling, to be light. Now, by the second day, it'll soak up the moisture, but it'll still feel, light, not like gummy dumplings. I don't really like that kind. Some people like that kind, I don't. Now I make another type dumpling sometimes. It's a real thin rolled out dumpling, and that's really more like almost like pasta really, but they're good too. In that particular recipe you use milk in the actual broth. Alright, this should be good enough right here. Alright, get it off my hands. Alright, now I'm just going to start breaking little pieces off about the size of maybe a tablespoonful, and then mash them a little flat. Now this is very similar to the way I make dumplings to go in pinto beans, which I love. So just roll it out, about a tablespoon worth, and then drop it down a little bowl of flour, because we want those coated with flour when we put them into the pan. Alright, so I'm just going to keep rolling these out and getting them coated with flour, and we'll be back. Okay, we are back, and I've completed making my little dumplings, and I've sprinkled a little more flour on them. I want them all coated. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is dump in my chicken, because I want the chicken to hold the dumplings up so they don't sink to the bottom and get all soggy. Alright, we're going to let this come back to just a slight boil, and when it does, we'll be ready to put our dumplings in, so we'll be back. Alright, my broth and chicken have come to a pretty good boil now, and I've got it on medium. Now once I put the dumplings in, of course it's going to slow the boiling process, so I want to make sure each one is coated with the flour. I'm going to drop them right in. Now I don't want it boiling a whole bunch because I don't want it to boil over. So I'm just going to dump all of them in. Make sure they're good and coated with the flour. Alrighty. going to put the lid on for 10 minutes and let them boil with the lid on, not removing the lid and not cutting down the heat. Just we want that nice, calm, even heat. So I'm going to turn my burn down just a little bit more because I don't want to boil in too much because they'll break up the dumplings. All right, when this gets ready, we'll be back. Okay, the dumplings have been cooking now really for about 15 minutes actually. And what I want to do is make really the gravy that's in there. And I want it to be thicker than what I can see. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of the same self-rising flour to about 3/4 of a cup of water. And that was actually 3 heaping tablespoons. So I'm just going to mix that up with my whisk and kind of get the lumps out of it. And this is just whole milk. That ought to be good enough. Alright, I'm going to take my lid off now, and I'm going to just gradually add that water in, or excuse me, the milk. Now if it was too thick, which would really be unlikely, you could just add some water. Alright, that ought to do it. I'm just going to stir that around a little bit. If there's some lumps in that flour, that's okay. They'll really disintegrate. Now we're just going to continue cooking this for a few minutes until that flour thickens up that chicken broth. We'll be right back. Okay, my chicken and dumplings are ready, and I want to show you what they look like. I'll dip one of them out. Now we will be having this for lunch tomorrow. Now, even though the sauce looks a little runny right now, by the time this is cooled off and it's set in the refrigerator overnight, the sauce is going to thicken way up. Looks like a little biscuit on the inside, and this will soak up water during the night, and I'll have a light dumpling. That's what I call them anyway, a very light dumpling. I'm not going to taste of it because it'll be too hot. Alright, I hope you'll try this, and this is just one version of chicken and dumplings. Now, I don't put pepper in mine, but most people do, so at this point you might want to put, I don't know, as much as a tablespoon of black pepper in there. Now my husband likes the dumplings with red pepper, and I like them with no pepper. So, anyway, there's what it looks like, a little miniature biscuit, but again, after it's set overnight, it'll be moist on the inside. Alright, we'll see you next time.